Welcome back to Decolonize Our Mind. And today we are going to take a look at how to write a lesson plan, right? And we're going to take it step by step. So we're going to start with the components of a lesson plan. Now we'll see how it pans out. So, like I said, um, today's subject is steps to writing a lesson plan. And the learning objective, what I as the teacher am expecting students to be able to do by the end of this whole lesson plan is to be able to identify and analyze the components of a lesson plan, right? And I also want students to be able to incorporate those components into creating elaborate, effective, and engaging lesson plans. The three E's. I'm gonna call it the three E's: elaborate, effective, and engaging. Students don't want to sit in a classroom where the learning is boring. Also, students want to know how that information connects to their reality. Okay. And I'm just going to say, I've always wanted to teach in the community where I was born and raised because I felt that I needed someone like me. So why am I going to leave and not provide those students someone that I needed myself at that time? So, so those are learning objectives. And where do we get our learning objectives is another question, because that's where the standards come in. So before the learning objective, I would have the standard. So what I would do next is activate prior knowledge. I want to ask a particular question or do a particular quick activity, like 5 minutes, a quick activity just to see what you already know about writing lesson plans or about lesson plans itself. So I would ask for this particular lesson, I would ask you guys, are lesson plans necessary? And then I say, explain. So you're gonna, if you say yes, they're necessary, I need an explanation as to why they're necessary. That's why I say explain, because it's easy to say yes. And when we're writing questions for students, we want to think of this same thing also. We don't want them to just say yes, no. You want them to be able to explain why you're saying yes and why you're saying no, and also to feel comfortable that there is no, if you can defend your no, awesome, then that means there is no really right or wrong answer, because you can defend it with some substantial evidence, facts, right? So I would let them know that too. Okay. So that's how you activate prior knowledge, and that's just to get students to think about what we're getting ready to learn. Okay. So once we discuss that, we take about 5 minutes and then we talk about it. And then we go into right into the mini lesson now. This is another component of the lesson. So I'm gonna have to really go into a little in depth into how to do that. So here's where my resources start coming in, so that I'm not the only one running up my mouth, and you can see other visuals for other learners, because this is now where you start incorporating learning um learning styles, right? And we're going to talk about that also. This is why I'm saying this video is only going to be but so long, because there's so many components and so much information that we can get into. All right. So let's go and let me stop sharing, and I'm going to click on the video that we're going to watch on. But here are all the components. Okay. So take a look at it. You have it on the screen. Take a look at it, right? Watch the video. But again, I'm going to say, don't boggle yourself with all these separate components. We're going to take each one. Let me stop sharing this right now. We're going to take each one, and I'm just going to end with, because this, like I said, this is a lot. I want to see exactly where I left off with where we're at with this. So we just got up to what is a lesson plan, and what does a lesson plan consist of? right? So now if we're now if I was in the classroom actually doing a lesson, right, with you guys with this, now I would give you some kind of activity, um like us. Okay, so the mini lesson should really only take kind of like maybe no more than 15 minutes. Okay, and then and then we're gonna go to guided practice. And this is where you put students in groups. You put students in groups and you provide an activity that students can work on together. Okay, whatever that group activity is. And then we have independent practice, because you want to see that, okay, you guys did great together, but now let me see how much you retained independently, right? So this is just the independent practice, and you provide them again with another activity, or it can be an extension of the activity that they were doing as a group activity. Because guided means now that you're going to put each of your groups in groups. Like, I have my group that group there, I don't need to work with them, they can work together. Now I have the other group that they need kind of my guidance just a little bit, just a little bit. Now I have the other group that needs me to really sit down with them and really explain it to them and provide different manipulatives or whatever for them to be able to understand the information. Okay. And then we have assessment, maybe a follow-up or assessment. Okay. And yeah, so that is the shortest. These components right here that I underlined: the subject, the learning objective, the standard. I didn't put that here, but I'm going to put that right here because the standard is very important. From the standard is where we create our learning objective. From the standard, we break it down and then we create our learning objective from there. Okay, activating prior knowledge, your mini lesson. So there's, let me see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm gonna underline the ones that are the components. So these right here. Now this in between here, guys, is what I'm gonna be coming back and breaking down for you. So we're gonna my next video is gonna be like, okay, how do I work these standards? Where do I get these standards from? How do I break these standards down to learning objectives? How do I gather the materials that I need to fulfill this learning objective? And that's what we're going to go into. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it's pretty long. I hope that you learned something from it. Leave a comment.